All right, thank you, Elizabeth, for that wonderful presentation on the district and its history and its story. I would like to invite up Paul Norrington, a longtime K-Town resident. I believe Paul's been on and off been living in North Lawndale for 50 years now.
40 years old.
Paul would like to say some words about the historic district and what it means for the neighborhood.
Okay, I've had to overcome my fear of speaking in public because this is pretty significant. I would like to thank Neighborhood Housing Services and its director, Charles Leaks, not only for its commitment to our community, but also for its vision for our community, without which we would not be here today. Also, I would like to thank Tawana Calvin, president of the 4300 West Cullerton Block Club, for her hard work and innovative thinking in bringing this celebration together. My name is Paul Norrington, president of the 4200 West 21st Place Block Club. I was born in North Lawndale at 1311 South Holman, now a vacant lot. I went to school at Lawson Elementary School at 13th and Holman, now a housing complex. I went to church at Open Door Baptist Church at 13th and Sawyer, now torn down and replaced. We moved to K-Town in 1959. Thank God it's still standing. I've been asked to speak on the significance of K-Town's history in my life. I either was not alive for or too young to remember much of that history. I did not experience the Czechs, who after seeing a promising area moved in and built wonderful and diverse homes. I did not experience the great migration of the early 20th century, when thousands of blacks left the repressive South for the promise of a better life in the North. I was too young to appreciate the hard work and sacrifice that my parents endured in order to finally buy property in K-Town. What I do remember, and what has impacted my life to this day, are the quiet winter nights of the 60s and 70s, walking home from the L stop on Kildare, turning the corner onto 21st Place to be met by blocks emblazoned with Christmas lights, one block trying to outdo the other with its efforts. What I do remember is walking down Keeler, heading home from Corkery Elementary School, and turning onto 21st Place and its well-maintained homes and lawns. What I do remember is the commitment that my parents and their generation put into the block club. That effort gave me those wonderful memories of turning onto my block. But it wasn't just my parents and it wasn't just my block. It was all of the blocks in K-Town. All of the blocks had block clubs. These block clubs came together and formed the Greater Lawndale Conservation Committee, GLCC. The GLCC sponsored civic competitions amongst its member blocks. Among other incentives, there were awards to blocks for the best Christmas decorations and the cleanest blocks. Those competitions are why we have lamps in our front yards today. Those competitions fostered neighborhood pride. How many of you have had house guests who have commented on how nice our neighborhood is? It's because of the residual pride from those early efforts. Now we see poor urban planning, unemployment, drugs, and undereducation threatening what most of us hold dear. When I say most of us, I mean at least 95 to 99% of us. There's a high school in Maywood where the police have to go every day at closing time to prevent fights and shootings after school. I asked the security guard there once how many of the students were bad. She said about 1%. 1%. Look at our blocks. Even on the worst blocks, what percentage of the residents is a problem? 1, maybe 2%. That leaves 98 to 99% of the people living with what they don't want to live with. It's time for us, the 98%ers, to stand up for what we believe in, a safe and prosperous neighborhood. We have always had the power to do this. Now we have a powerful focal point for that power. This designation by the National Trust for Historic Preservation is a unique opportunity to do just what we want, preserve our neighborhood. And in preserving this neighborhood, all of the neighborhoods in North Lawndale can benefit. Don't be blinded to the fact that this designation is a big thing. For some of us, this has crept up on us, so we may not see it for what it is. K-Town is now on the National Register. We are now distinct across the country and around the world. But what do we do with this opportunity? Do we sit back and let it fade into another memory? Or do we grab onto it and use it for all that it offers? Please leave your email addresses and phone numbers with us and think about what we have been handed and what we can do with it. In the next few months, you'll be contacted to give not only your suggestions, but your effort. And one day, your children and grandchildren can reminisce about walking home on a quiet winter night from the L stop on Kildare.
Thank you, Paul. I want to say personally for me, it's been a pleasure working with Paul over the last couple of years as we have worked on this initiative to get K-Town listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And I can attest personally to Paul's passion about this. He and I were just in Austin, Texas a couple weeks ago for the National Trust National Preservation Conference. And I can tell you the excitement and passion that Paul spoke with when he talked to people about Lawndale and K-Town. And equally, I can say the excitement or how impressed people were when they heard the story of K-Town and North Lawndale as well, people from all over the country. So I want to really thank Paul for his words and for his efforts over the last several years. So thank you. Okay, to officially inaugurate the National Register District, I'd like to first off invite Mike Jackson from the Illinois, Chief Architect of the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency up, and I'd also like to invite Eleanor Gorski, Deputy Commissioner with the Historic Preservation Division at the City's Department of Zoning and Land Use Planning. So if you could come up, and we're going to sign the National Register Certificate for the district. And how would...
Sure. You want to hold that?
Yeah, I'll hold this, and I'll get out of the way.
We'll speak after.
Yeah. So I guess we'll sign up here
on the podium. All right, we need the photographer. Just capture the moment here, then I'll talk later. Yeah. I didn't bring 12 pens, so okay, we'll take it slow and easy. Congratulations. All right, I'll take a few minutes. Congratulations. I'm here representing the State Historic Preservation Office, and behind me is someone at the National Park Service called the Keeper of the National Register. It's my favorite job title in government, Keeper of the National Register. And she, Carol Scholl, also sends her congratulations because she's the one who is behind me signing off on this and making it official. But it's more than just something official. It's something personal, and I can hear it. Paul, have you heard about the oral history projects that are going on? Because I think you're a great candidate for an oral history project as we take this beyond just talking about things and where do we go with this. So you've reached a monumental threshold. We've gotten the designation, you've done the research, and this is fantastic. And the question is, what does it mean? Where do we go from here? And I want to position the National Register as something very different than what you're thinking about. It's a place to recognize history, but what it really means is that it's a place to recognize the future, because what you have recognized as historic has now been deemed of being something permanently worthy of America's attention. The values, the stewardship, the place of K-Town goes on into the future, and as far as we're concerned, it's indefinitely. And now you're stewards of an important cultural resource. So the work has begun in terms of what does that mean, and we're going to be there with you, helping you think about tax incentives that are available, programs that can help. You've got neighborhood housing services behind you in the city, so there's a lot of things that come with that. But you took the first step. You looked at your history, you recognized it, you said it's really something special. This team of people that I'm not all going to name was behind you, and now we look as K-Town, the future. Thank you.